Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Children of the Cup, the Shadow Renaissance. I am your DMGM storyteller, whichever you'd like to call me, Forgotten Dreams, and I am joined by a very familiar cast of people who are all wonderful and beautiful, starting with Azzy.
I'm Asi or Asira, and I am playing Emilia.
Yay. Next up, we have Shannon.
Hello, I'm Shannon, and I am playing the Maiden.
Fantastic. Next, we'll go with Emma.
Hi, I'm Emma or Mel, and I will not be playing She-Meg.
What? All right, fantastic. And last but not least, we have Seth.
Hello, my name is Foriel, and I'll be playing Victor today instead of Vijala.
And while I can't torture you today, Seth, with previously on Children of the Cup, soon, I can torture you with asking for the viewer warning. So, take it away.
Yes, absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. This is going to be a vampire story. Vampires are not necessarily nice people because they are undead and they need to feed on people. So, yeah, those two things tend to combine in not so much morally the high ground, I guess. So yeah, there's going to be dark decisions, there's going to be some nasty stuff going on, as in vampires doing vampire stuff and bad things. Feel free to take a break from that if you need one, but keep in mind there can be graphic scenes, there can be stuff going on that is not particularly nice. It's a horror thing. So enjoy it if you like, and if you don't, yeah, just pause for a bit or skip it. That sort of stuff.
I think that's a really good way of putting it. It's a horror thing.
Mhm.
Always has been, always will be. All right. Well, bringing us in, it is the lovely year of 1620. We find ourselves within the region of Flanders in Bruges, and we are on the verge of the first battle of the Protestant Reformation, the battle at White Mountain. However, that is not where the story picks up. Instead, the story picks up in the city of Bruges itself. Now, each of you have done a one-on-one with, and for our audience who is seeing this for the first time and is going, what do you mean one-on-one? We will be posting those soon enough. And I think I am going to pick up with Victor as the camera makes its way to the city of Bruges itself. We can see that quite a bit of time has passed. Previously, it was somewhere around 2 in the afternoon when we left off with you in the one-on-one. And about now, it's around 6:15, and the sun is beginning to set off in the distance. As we zoom down into the streets of Bruges themselves and into the northern part of Bruges, not too far from the four windmills up there, and into one of the local manors, where, if you'd like to go ahead and describe, Victor, would be on the first floor.
Right. Victor is a man in his mid-20s that seems to be hobbling around more than walking. He has blonde curled hair, androgynous, I can't pronounce that word. Androgynous kind of facial features, seemingly a mix of southern, potentially probably Italian, with something more northern European. And there's like this blonde beard outlining his face slightly. Green eyes, slender, not too tall build. That might also be the limp that he's having. But yeah, wearing dark, more or less Protestant-looking clothing.
Fantastic. One of your keepers, Robin, would be seen in the background sort of cleaning up the mess that is the dining room at the time and sort of deconstructing the box that you were pulled out of. Meanwhile, you can hear... Oh, hang on a second. Let me turn off my phone sound so I don't get any phone calls. All right, fun. There we go. Fantastic.
Quick question, by the way.
Yes.
Since we're late in the day, could I have, earlier in the day, have asked for my crutch, basically?
You could have asked for that, and Vera is probably out going to get you a new one, as one was not provided.
Maria or
was it Vera or Maria?
Maria?
Maria Princeton.
Princeton.
But she is out getting a crutch for you at the time. And you can hear sort of this sawing sound coming from the dining room as you're sort of taking a look around.
Victor's clearly starting to get bored and sort of sitting around and waiting. So yeah, he's just doing that.
Fantastic. A bit of time would pass before eventually you would hear the sawing stop in the other room. Robin would poke his head out. So, do I need to get you any more food, or are you okay?
How okay am I?
Well, I'd like you to go ahead and roll me a straight D10.
Straight D10. Do.
Okay, 5, and then plus on top of that the bowl. So we'll put you at 7.
4, 5, 6, 7. Well, if there is more to be had, I guess I could do with.
I swear you people are greedy. And you watch as he walks into the kitchen, and a few moments later comes out with another steaming hot bowl, and puts it down on the table in front of you.
I will consume that.
Fantastic. So that's going to give you another 2.
All right.
Well, as much as I'd like to sit around and wait for her to get back, I think it would be best if I began taking you to the common house. How
Right.
well do you think you're going to be able to move without that?
That is sort of what I'm waiting for.
Should I carry you?
Mm, preferably not.
Unfortunate.
Also, that would be pulling way too much attention.
Well, I would only need to carry you to the carriage.
Should be able to make it to a carriage, he says as he tries to sort of get up properly.
Sure, go ahead and make me a strength athletics difficulty 5.
This is gonna hurt. Or not, we'll see. What did the dice say?
The dice say success!
One success.
It's not so much the soreness of muscles or anything like that that is taking over with your ability to move at this point. It's more so, despite the healing attributes of being turned, you are a bit wobbly and getting used to your new gait in comparison to your old one, especially without the assistance of the crutch. So it's kind of awkward and quite stumbly, but you do manage to get yourself upright and walking okay-ish.
I'll stay close to the walls just in case.
Good. I'll go get the carriage. And with that,
Carriage sounds good.
He goes ahead and he leaves the room. The camera zooms out, pulls back, and makes its way all the way down to southern Bruges, where there are also 4 windmills. And it zooms in quickly to one of those manors where we would see the maiden, currently with Vincent and Quentin going about, and it sounds like Quentin is downstairs doing some cleaning. And there's the odd sound occasionally of what sounds like a mallet hitting a squelching rat every once in a while, coming from the basement. And Vincent is currently in the kitchen cleaning up. Go ahead and roll me a d10 as well.
Remind me how I do that on this one. I'm sorry.
You can go
anyway,
into the...
I stand above.
Gotcha. All right, there you go.
I found it. Have it. I was like,
exactly the same. You'll end up with 7.
Okay.
Vincent would quickly pop out his head. So do you need anything else to eat, or should we get ready to go?
Out of character, I don't remember what actually is her max because I don't remember. I'm sorry.
Double check.
14.
I believe it's 14. Yeah.
Okay, so she would probably be a bit hungry.
Yeah, nippish. Could definitely do with some sustenance.
She kind of looks a bit nervous. If there's any to spare, that would be lovely. But
Yeah, and I promise, no more apples.
no more apples.
Give me one moment, and he disappears, and there's a bit more sound, and in a similar fashion, also, he brings out a warm bowl towards you, and he says, well, here it is. I promise there's no chunks in it. There's nothing that could possibly cause the reaction we had earlier whatsoever. I've double and triple checked.
Thank you. And she'll start away. Any chance you could share the recipe?
Well, quite simply, blood, thyme, sage, and a little olive oil. Just a dash, not too much.
Thank you.
Either way, though, I don't have any more of that here at the house. That was like the last of what we had. So we are going to have to sort of wait to get you more fed until we get to the common house. While this will be your residence, as it were, during your process. You'll still have to go to the common house for training with the mistress.
Okay.
Is there anything I need to get you for travel? Any particular needs? Anything like that?
She just looks a little bit wide-eyed, trying to think, but also not wanting to kind of push her luck. But what would I need?
This actually brings up a great question, because I did not go through this with you. What would the mistress look like, number one? And number two, what would your change of clothes look like? Because they did get that for you in the time.
What would the mistress look like?
Or not the mistress, but the maiden.
Oh, yeah, sorry. The maiden. What is she? I'm guessing she's still pretty waterlogged. If this is still
you're a lot better now.
Okay. I no longer look like a body that's been in water for 2 weeks. Yay. She is tan. She has dark hair, dark eyes. Still a little bit damper on the edges, but there's no more like water or mucus coming out of her nose, so that's good. She's wearing very kind of simple, like peasant clothes, like a chemise with just like red, kind of like heavier kind of dress. It not for like the best weather probably, but more just like it will last a long time. It's got patches in it. She's got an apron that, even though she has been in water for a while, is still a bit stained, and a cross necklace, and a wedding band that is made of the wood from a wine barrel. And yeah, I don't know, what change of clothes, whatever they want. She wouldn't have been picked up, said anything fancy.
Sure. So they've done their best to get you something extremely similar. It's probably just a little bit of a shader lighter in the red.
Yeah.
Now I didn't get any luggage when Quentin got you. Was that a thing at all that you remember, or because I don't know exactly how he grabbed you? I just know he grabbed you.
He said he hit me on the back of the head on my way home.
So not luggage. Great. Okay. Interesting. All right. Huh. That's a way to do it. Well, in that case, give me a moment. And he runs off towards the basement door. Quentin, let's go! And you hear a number of footsteps beginning to come up the stairs. And you would see Quentin appear. He's quite covered. He's covered in a lot of dirt. He is, for those of you who have ever seen Quentin before, fuller in the face, a little bit of a darker complexion than my own, maybe about 2 shades. Similar buzz-cut hairstyle. Well, for him, it's a little bit more hair than me. He also has a very nicely kept beard. And he is 5'8", I think I put him at. Wearing a very dark, almost grayish black cloak. And has currently a small hatchet sitting in one of his belt loops. That he just nonchalantly carries around with him at all times now. Sorry about that. Where are we going? And you hear Vincent go, we're getting on the carriage so we can take her to the common. Oh, okay. Well, okay, yeah, no, that's funner than chopping up a box. You want to just come with us, or should we pull the carriage around? How do you want to do it? And Vincent kind of just looks at him and says, you go pull the carriage around. I'll wait at the door with her. And Quentin goes, all right. Quickly walks off. I swear, he's an idiot sometimes. All the times.
He's kind, she says, with a kind of half nervous, half smile.
Are you saying that because he's actually kind, or are you saying that because he has a hatchet?
She nods. Yes,
That's what I figured. The camera pulls out of this abode, and it would make its way further east to a 2-story tavern with a cellar. And it would make its way up to the 2nd story and into one of the rooms where we would see not Chimeg, just finishing getting herself all set and together. If you would like to describe what Isabella looks like and what she would be now wearing.
Yeah, she would have cleaned up quite a bit, and she looks to be in her early 20s and is slightly above average in height, something that is increased by the very proper posture, and she has her cheeks are rouged, but other than that, her face is pretty average, and she is standing in what can only be described as a very elaborate dress. It is black with a purple pattern that kind of is sort of similar of French lilies. And around her neck, she is wearing like a cross that is kind of common for the Renaissance period. That kind of looks like a Gothic cross, and it is also with a big purple stone in the middle, and she's wearing matching earrings. And her hair is brown, and the majority of it is put up in like braids around her that is covered in a hairnet that is also decorated with pearls, and the rest of the hair is kind of like spilling around her face in soft curls. Probably pretty clear that she has access to a bit of money.
Probably. Pearls and all.
Probably.
But you would hear a knock on the door, and you would hear Vera's voice. How you doing in there?
I'm fine, but how about come inside?
Oh, okay. Is the door unlocked, or would you have to unlock it for her?
I think it would be unlocked, actually.
Okay. So she goes ahead and swings the door and pokes her head in, and it's a very, very thin, very lithe woman who seems to be fairly young. You could place her between 19 and maybe like 23. And currently, her hair, it looks like she's redone her hair. Actually, last time you saw her, she's got it completely done in these wonderful curls that have been tied back and semi-braided. And she's still wearing her dark gray cloak, which covers up 90% of her features. But she kind of just gives you a soft smile and glares at you with her very, very nice brown eyes. And she goes, "So, do you need me to help with girl stuff? Or
Well, she would kind of like straighten up even a little bit more and kind of like brush out her gown and fix her hair a little bit. And how do I look? Is anything out of place?
She makes a motion for you to do a spin.
She will do a slow spin.
Okay. Also, I love that Seth drinking something is like extremely loud.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's great. So she sort of looks over you and goes, okay, yeah, no, that looks fantastic. I would ask for tips if we had time.
Certainly. But I don't think we have time.
Unfortunately, I don't think we do now. And excuse me, players, but this might be loud at first, so just give me a second. Yeah, that's loud. There we go. All right. So, I'm sure you're hungry and all, still, and go ahead and roll me a d10. Eight! So you get 9. But unfortunately, we don't have any more here at the tavern. It being sort of a tavern, we weren't exactly going to be, keeping you here very long. We do have a carriage ready. I think Marco has the carriage ready. He should, at least, if he's doing what I told him to, which is rare. But he should. Other than that, prepare to meet, like, a couple of people. Like 2, if memory serves, maybe 3. We'll say 4 to be safe. And, yeah, they're gonna be like you, from, at least I think so. More than likely.
Those are some kind of odds, I suppose.
Yes, it could go either way. Either you'll meet no one and it'll be fantastic, or you'll meet everyone and it'll be, an experience.
Of course.
But is there anything that I can do? Anything that I can get you to prepare you for the ride or anything like that?
Not this very second.
Oh, great. No luggage. Fantastic.
Oh, no, obviously the luggage.
You see her sort of disheartened at that and goes, yes, obviously the luggage. All right, very well. Yeah, I can get that. You know what? Let me go get Marco, because he's gonna be better at carrying these things than I am. And she scurries off. Is there anything that you do in the time that you are alone?
Well, is there a mirror in the room?
There would not be, actually. But you could have asked for one earlier in the day after noticing that, so... would you have asked for one?
I mean, yeah, she would have in the beginning.
Sure. Okay. In that case, there is a small hand mirror that would have been provided to you.
Then she's going to take that up and look into it and, well, see nothing, but
Yes.
she will still look into it and...
What you do see is some very nice floating pearls.
She will kind of make sure that the pearls are in order.
Yeah, absolutely. And funnily enough, with this whole mirror thing and the fact that the pearls are floating, you can even see the back, and one of them is slightly caught, and sort of adjust it real quick. It's very convenient, yet terrifying at the same time.
She will kind of adjust it and say, "Your linings, I suppose."
Eventually, you would hear the footsteps of Marco as he comes up and sort of just barges into the room with no sort of greetings or pleasantries whatsoever. And he is actually covered from head to toe. He has on a mask, he has his hood completely up, and only his sort of very vibrant silverish eyes are visible. But he quickly reaches out one of his muscular arms and begins to pick up several pieces of your luggage. All right, this'll do. Should I carry you as well to the carriage, or are you going to need something else?
I can walk, thank you.
Very well. And he gives a little bit of a not actually a bow, he does a curtsy instead, because he's carrying luggage. And he just, glares at you for a moment before skulking out the door. And you hear his heavy trodden footsteps going down the stairs.
She will like flinch, like her eye twitches, and then she will follow me out.
Okay, very well. But you follow him out, and you begin to go down the stairs, and you would see that the bar is completely packed with a number of individuals, ranging from those of familiarity, quite a few individuals who appear to be French sailors, and those of obscure origins, individuals who look like they are from the Far East or somewhere else entirely, happen to be inside this tavern. You would quickly make your way out the door and into the carriage, and it is a very plain carriage. It's simply a wooden frame with no pleasantries, no art style, no nothing. Some very simple white curtains which have been pulled close to block out the night or day, depending on when you're riding in the carriage. And you can see Marco is just nonchalantly chucking your luggage up onto the top rack and then loosely securing everything with ropes. Well, should we be off or whatever?
Sure. And she kind of walks up to the door and looks at it and looks at him.
Right. And he goes over to it. And before he can actually get to it, Vera quickly appears from the other side and opens the door very graciously. And she goes, "Here you go."
Thank you.
All right, off we go. Marco, get in the chair. Get in the chair. And the two of them, after closing the door behind you, scurry up to the front bench of the carriage as it sets off. Camera would then pull out and make its way closer to the center of the city. Actually, not too far away, maybe about a block away from the town square, where we would find another manor, this time in much better repair than the others. You would see a elegantly kept manor, probably by best estimates built in the 1420s, and very well kept up, at least from all appearances so far. You would see that it also has a single gargoyle that sits perched above the front entrance archway. And we would see all three carts over the period of about a minute or so beginning to slowly pull up to this manor. And each of you would step out. At the front door, we would meet our last character. Amelia, if you would like to describe yourself and what you would be wearing as these carts begin to approach and individuals begin to step out.
All right. So she is a younger woman, looks in her around 20s. She has brown, like slightly wavy, like not curly. I said curly before, but I meant wavy hair.
Okay.
And she has blue eyes. She's about 5'5" in length, and she has this simpler dress, but not like maybe a peasant, but more like if you would meet like someone that is selling something in a store, like a clerk almost, but definitely not a noble. She has light brown, almost grayish color on her dress with dashes of red to give some details to it. But overall looks like anyone else you could find in the city, basically. She has definitely this alluring view, like she looks kind of pretty, but she doesn't look like she's standing out too much, like she's super pretty or anything. But like, she's kept taking well care of her. And as she sees the wagons come up, she like squeezes a little on her shins to create a little more rouge and fixes her hair, and then takes a very passive stance next to the door, waiting.
Fantastic. From your perspective, you would watch as the three carts would pull up, and each cart has two individuals sitting on the bench section. One of those individuals was quickly dropped down, One individual who's somewhere around 4'9", another individual who's somewhere around 5'8", and another individual who is standing roughly around 6 foot. You're not entirely sure. But these three individuals would jump down. They are all heavily cloaked. And not showing many of their features, but they would quickly make their way to the left-hand sides of the carriage where the door is. And almost as if practice and in unison, they would open the three doors to the carriage. Which of you would be the first to step out?
Well, I guess Isabella would step out kind of as soon as it's opened.
Okay, fantastic. So we'd watch as this very elegantly dressed woman would begin to step out of the middle carriage. Quickly followed by Victor. And then I'm assuming the maiden. For the three of you, you would see a very elegant manor in front of you with a gargoyle. And this woman who's probably just another keeper, standing at the door with a very neutral stance. What would all of you do?
I do think that you see Victor climbing out of that thing backwards,
Okay.
like being very careful where to place his footing and probably making this movement as if he's about to fall, but just doesn't.
Robin would carefully place a hand on your back and help you down a little bit.
Yeah, and when he notices that there's more people arriving in carriages, he sort of, we should have waited for my crutch. And then he starts sort of limping towards the door, trying to stay up straight.
Luckily for you, as you begin to go take the first step, Robin immediately puts a quick hand on your chest and says, "1 second." And he walks over to the front bench of the carriage and pokes the individual very quickly who's sitting up there. And you hear, "Oh, yes!" And she reaches back and pulls from the top of the carriage a brand new crutch, which Robin quickly takes and brings over to you. Here you go.
Oh, thank you. And he places that under his arm and sort of walks more comfortably towards the door.
As he's approaching, like even when he's kind of far away, this woman turns around to the doors and swings them open and like stands and does a slight curtsy and then just stands next to the door to give everyone way, even if it's a bit before you reach the door.
Yeah. As you guys are making your way up the staircase, essentially.
Yeah.
Okay. What about the maiden? What would she be doing?
Probably looking at it, again, shaky to Vincent, and we'll thank both him and Quentin and ask if they'll be coming inside too.
Vincent sort of leans in towards you. He's the one who would have opened your door. And he says, no, we won't come in for this part. We sort of wait outside, let you guys do your introductions, and then we'll make our way in later unnoticed through the servants' entrance, and we'll start preparing things.
She tilts her head at them using the servants' entrance with a nod. Thank you. Hopefully we don't keep you waiting too long.
Oh, no, take your time. Best of luck. Don't get eaten. It's
There's
a
a
joke.
slight swing.
Don't worry. It's a joke. I'm sure no one will try to eat you. Hopefully.
There's no sound coming from her mouth. It's just like a breathy kind of squeak, and then she'll just nod and decide maybe walking and not speaking to him is the best course of action for her nerves.
Fantastic. So, as the three of you make your way towards the door, is there anything that do you acknowledge Amelia whatsoever? What are your actions when you come upon this person who is at the door, if any?
think Isabella would just stride past, basically, if she looks like a attendant.
Fantastic.
Who is striding past first? Well, is Victor the one in the front, or is
Isabella would be the
one?
one in the front. Yeah. So it'd be
Ah.
Isabella, Victor, and then the maiden.
As you are about to walk past, this girl just says, "Welcome, Isabella Maria Dominic."
She will stop for a moment. Thank you.
And she does a courtesy. "My name is Emilia. If you need help with anything, I will be at your service."
I will remember that.
And she
Will
smiles.
stand questioning for a moment. Where am I heading?
It will be explained inside. You will find new places to sleep and have your own rooms.
Huh? Right inside.
Okay, you begin to head inside. Victor?
She would say,
Huh?
"Welcome, Victor Portinari."
Thank you. Did I hear that part of the new places to sleep?
Yes, you will be given rooms. Well, you will be able to choose rooms out of 5, actually. So you can find one to your pleasing.
Right. No, this really doesn't scream sect or anything, he says as he hobbles in further.
She doesn't comment that. She just does a courtesy as she walks past.
Okay.
And then when the last one, she says, "Welcome. I'm so sorry, miss. I was not given your name beforehand."
No need to apologize. My name is Rosa. What's your name?
"My name is Emilia. It's a wonderful name, Rosa. If you need help with anything at all, I will be here at your service."
You're very kind, Emilia. How long have you been working here?
For about 3 hours.
So you're very new too. Okay, I was just wondering, they were speaking about training period and stuff before we could go our own ways. Do you know? Guessing you don't know how long that takes.
Oh, that can take, it's a slightly different, but average time is about a year to get the hang of everything and what you have become. I will be here to help you.
That's very kind of you. Do you know which way I need to go?
Just continue in with the others and you will be given a room, or you will be able to choose a room out of 5, so you can find one to your pleasing.
I don't have any money on me.
Oh, everything is free.
Free?
Yes, you are much more higher standing than a noblewoman is now.
No words again. Just thank you again. We'll see you inside.
Definitely. I will be just behind you. And she does another courtesy.
She'll do a curtsy back too, and she'll enter.
Okay, fantastic. As the last of the new guests has entered, what does Amelia do?
She looks out toward the other people at the wagons.
You would see one of them is just like angrily grabbing luggage off of the top of the cart that's in the middle that Isabella walked out of. The others are sort of just doing their best blank and sort of neutral expressions that they can. Those of them that you can see, which isn't many of them, and as you look towards them, a couple of them give you nods.
And does it look like they are making the way to this door or to a side entrance with luggage and stuff?
Right now, Marco's just getting everything down. It doesn't look like he's heading in any particular direction, but if you wait around, he'll like take a few things under his arms, and then hand a few things off to the woman that was with him on top of the carriage earlier, and the two of them will begin to make their way towards the alleyway of the manor.
In that case, she would, as the other nod, she was like nodding back, and then she like goes and close the doors with herself on the inside, like she's looking out, and then she will turn around and see where the rest of the people are gone.
Fantastic. So, for everybody, as you come within, you would see that there is a very beautiful and elegant grand staircase that runs up along the left-hand side wall. As you initially step through the doors, everything is hardwood flooring and looks to have been recently shined. There is an immediate access from the foyer immediately into what looks to be a large sitting room, enough to accommodate probably about 10 individuals at the most. There is sort of an open floor plan that goes into the beginnings of the kitchen, where you can see that there is a bit of a breakfast bar, but the rest of the kitchen is sort of walled off away from viewing. And on the opposite side, closer to the door, the main front door, there is a doorway which is slightly cracked open that looks to lead to a very elegant looking dining room that you can't fully see, but you can see there's quite a bit of very nice dining ware that is set up on that table. Those of you who look up to see what you can see on the second floor would see that there's a singular thin-railed sort of balcony that goes from left to right. On the right-hand side and going into sort of the same wall that the kitchen and dining room has, separating it from here, you would be able to, as you're walking underneath the balcony, see a little bit of a study. And off to the left-hand side, it looks like there are doorways for rooms.
Is there
anybody doing
anyone?
Yes.
Is there anyone there? Like,
Completely empty, it sounds like, for the most part. But eventually you do begin to hear like some movement coming from a basement door. And if you wait long enough, the door would open, and an old woman, probably in her early 50s, with sort of very thin, wispy gray hair, in a rather nice and well-kept cleaning, almost made-like uniform, but not like French-made uniform, like a normal-made uniform, would pop her head out of the basement door and look around, see the three of you, and just slowly close the door again.
Right. I'll hobble my way into the sitting room.
Fantastic. Very nice furniture. Probably furniture from the early 1500s, by your best dating. And quite a few crumpets and tea.
Bella will move over and sit down.
Sorry.
Isabella will just sit down.
Mm.
Chairs, I suppose.
Anything along the walls? Any decoration? Any cases?
Decoration-wise, you would see that there are a few paintings of, for those of you who are familiar with the city's history, a few of the governors, essentially, of Bruges in past, and also one city mayor. And above a very decorated marble-encased fireplace, there would be a picture of a woman wearing a very elegant black and purple dress with a close to the same design that Isabella is wearing, with the French lilies in purple. She would be adorned with a number of various different rings, and also would have not pearls, but would have a number of golden pieces of jewelry that have a mix of rubies and sapphires adorned on them. She'd be sitting down in a rather elegant couch with a large jet black green-eyed cat sitting to her left, and a Italian longsword, or greatsword, I should say, to her right, which appears to be about twice her size. She is, by your best estimates, more than likely from... She's a Spaniard, more than likely. You'd place it probably Navarra, if you were to say a region. Very long, curly, black, dark hair that goes down to about her mid-chest, and piercing silver eyes. And also a bit of a wicked smile that includes one slightly pronounced fang.
That's all. I'll also sit down somewhere. I don't assume to recognize her by any chance.
You can make me an intelligence politics, wits politics, difficulty
Oof.
9.
Now you're
Do I
asking
also
me
say
something.
this?
Anyone is more than willing to make this wits politics difficulty 9. Except for the maiden. You unfortunately cannot make this check.
So I can make the check? And
You
how can I
can,
see it?
actually, yeah.
I will make the check then.
What's the difficulty? 6?
The difficulty for you, by the way, Amelia, will actually be 10, not 9.
Alright, it's harder for me.
Uh-huh.
What was our difficulty?
9.
9. Oof.
Oh, wow. Oh, okay, yeah. It looks good on the surface, but there are 2 1s in there.
Yeah.
And there's also a 1 in Amelia's, unfortunately. Yeah.
It's still not cancelling them out.
Yeah, it's in the sheet script. I don't know how to change that, unfortunately.
Okay.
No, unfortunately, not ringing any bells for any of you.
Does Rosa also walk in and sit down there?
She will. Probably lingering just, again, there's a kind of skittishness about her. She probably poked her head, noticed this is where everybody else is, and definitely looks like she hasn't seen a room this lovely before. Probably moves as, even though, like, you know, she's got fresh, clean clothes. She hasn't got a speck of dirt on her at the moment, but she's moving as if she's worried that she's gonna just like soil something. But she will just kind of, you know, nod with like she'll nod and like do a mini bow to probably everybody, as she just she's not gonna make the first word. But as she just looks everything, she does seem to really be interested by like the paintings, not necessarily from recognition, more just, you know, enjoying the works of art. But there's definitely like a bit of a awkwardness and skittish nature, but she cannot just fight that energy at the moment.
After everyone has come in there after a little while, I guess Emilia would enter the room. And then she would look around a little to take in all of you. And then she would say, well, I want to welcome you to this manor. This will be your new home for the foreseeable future until you have done your training. Have you met your caretakers yet?
Yes, I believe so.
You're referring to the people that brought us here?
No. Equals to you that are the ones that are supposed to train you. Have you met them?
Oh,
No.
no. I do believe that the ones who, well, fished me up mentioned themselves as caretakers.
Did they call themselves keepers?
Maybe that was it.
That would be the word.
Right. Those that you have met are ghouls, and they have the title of Keeper of Society. Do you know what a ghoul is yet?
We?
Nope.
The way
We
they
know,
put
like,
it, it
from-
wasn't for them to share.
I think it's within my right to share it. Ghouls are people that are not like you, but just like ordinary mortals, ordinary people, but that has been given the gift of the blood of your kind. And by that, we are a little more above the normal people, and we are here to serve you. During your travels, you will meet many ghouls, and remember, ghouls of another Cainite or Children of the Cup are considered not your friends. They will serve whoever made them into a ghoul first most. But have you been told about Children of the Cup and about society?
Barely anything, I'm afraid.
This is the first time I hear the term Children of the Cup, I believe.
It's a well-kept secret, and that's why we are calling it here the Society instead. But I wanted you to know the term. So you are all three of you are a part of Children of the Cup. But in order to keep the secret, you are part of the Society. And that is how you can talk about it without risking consequences. It is very important that other, even Cainites, people that are like you but not of the Children of the Cup, knows about it. If that happens, bad consequences can happen. And I'm here to simply warn you about that. So I will from now on refer to it as the Society. And as you are members of the Society, you are one of the greatest beings on this earth. And you should take pride in that the next time you think about what you have become. And she has this awkward silence as she just looks on you, and she looks so happy somehow.
There's the sound of a creaking door that sort of comes from the direction of the kitchen. And you would hear very heavy trodden footsteps, as well as several others beginning to file into the kitchen. And eventually, for those of you, because I am assuming Amelia is doing this speech with her back to the front door,
Yes.
and not with her back to the fireplace. But the three of you would see Marco and another individual, like, gently trying to walk past the front door to the stairs to then make their way up the stairs. And there's a number of individuals now making, as quiet as they can, a commotion in the kitchen.
After the silence, she said, so before I keep just prattling on, does anyone of you have any specific questions that you're wondering now?
If we, this year-long training period, if we're quick study, is there a way that it could be shorter?
If your caretakers deem you ready, it will end the training, and that can happen earlier. But I wouldn't want to just rush through it to get over it. There is so much to learn and so many important things.
How can we tell ghouls apart from anyone else? My keepers, I wouldn't have been able to tell them apart unless they, without them saying.
You will learn to see the small hints after a while, but it's not always easy to see who is a ghoul or not. And you can't go around asking because normal mortals are not supposed to know that any of even me or you exist. But there will be signs. You will be able to tell by smell. You will be able to how they move and how they speak and how they look upon you. And of course, if you taste them, you will be able to discern it a lot more easy. But it is considered rude to drink from a ghoul that is not yours.
What is the purpose of this?
This place is the purpose of training you into your new lives.
Why were we brought into this, I mean?
You have been very lucky and I don't know the criteria you were chosen, but you're extremely lucky to have been picked to become these higher forms of beings.
Why Bruges?
The people that picked you probably have their strongholds close or in Bruges itself. We are everywhere.
Define
Me, I'm-
everywhere.
Well, everywhere in the world. I am from Southern Europe, from Italy.
Whereabouts in Italy?
What did you say?
Whereabouts in Italy?
Venice.
Do you get the chance to go back there often?
I have never been back there since I left.
After training and the one who chose me, whatever they want, I want to go back to Florence for a bit. Would you want to come too?
I would follow you wherever you want me to go, either of you. I think that you should stay together even after the training, but when you are trained, you will be your own individuals in the form of what decisions you take. And yes, to be frankly, you're not prisoners here either. I just strongly recommend that you stay in this manner until you have been given proper status, as they are dangerous to people who don't, to members of the society if you don't know what to look for.
And what exactly is it that we will be taught here?
Oh, you'll be trained in the difference of what it is to be a K-Knight and what is different for you and what is for normal K-Knights and for how your new being is being handled. You probably feel a lot right now. Like there's a lot of urges you didn't have before. And you will learn to control them, you will learn to live with them, and you will learn the wonderful powers it comes with it. We call them disciplines. It is gifts from the blood.
What kind of gifts?
It is different from all of us, I would say. They are divided into clans, as we call them, and they can do things from being stronger, faster, or even change reality somewhat around you.
Like some kind of magic? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that is very close to it. You seem hesitant. Do you want a demonstration?
I would love one, actually.
By all means.
All right, and be calm. There's no need to panic. And she takes her hands, and she does this, and then she just a little flapping, and then suddenly a bird just comes out of her hands and starts to fly around, and it's leaving this shadowy trail after it. And it's no sound from it; it's just flying around.
Does it look like an actual bird, or does it look like...
It looks close to a bird, but then it just disappears.
Well, I've
That's
seen
amazing.
plenty of parlor tricks.
Interesting trick indeed. How do you do the trail that it leaves behind?
It is complex. I can do other things as well.
How long did it take you to learn?
And she like thinks a little. Long time.
How long have you been a part of the society?
I have been part of this society for 20 years. And it looks like there's something off when she says it.
You barely look to be older than 20 years, child.
That is what I mean. I am 20 years, and I've always felt like I've been belonging in this.
You were born in it then?
Let's talk about the future instead. Let's talk about what you will see, as you will not age as you did before. You will always look like you look now. You are immortal.
Victor just sits observing, and the faces that I make is what the faces that he was making as well. Like, he clearly scoffs at the idea of immortality and them being immortal. He's not taking this all of this very seriously.
By I mean by it, of course, is that you won't die from age. You can still die from physical harm. You should take care of yourself.
How really likely to be in physical harm by being part of this society?
Sometimes it can get you closer to physical harm, but I would say, as most people of this society lives far longer than any mortal does, it is still a good trait.
Also, observing Elisa, was it right?
Emilia.
Amelia, sorry. Observing Amelia over the course of this time, like, there's been a few times that things were off with her, like twitching of the eyes, things not making 100% sense. Is there anything that I can read from the whole situation about her? I wonder.
I mean, I guess perception alertness. And I can tell you what you can see. More than that something is off.
Not empathy?
Sorry, empathy. That is true. Perception, empathy.
Difficulty of 6, I assume?
Yeah, just roll. It seems like every time she talks about when the question was specifically about her, like previous, like looking back, it seems like she's struggling with something before she answers. And you don't really know why, but it's definitely something she maybe don't want to share about her past, or maybe she's conflicted about sharing it, or things like that.
Yeah, he just continues staring and observing mainly everyone in the room, but Amelia sort of more than the rest.
Any more questions? I would love to answer anything you want to know.
When will we meet the ones who chose us?
I have not been given a good time frame of everything will happen, but I would presume they will be here tonight. They're probably traveling from now, as they cannot travel during the day without risking consequences.
Is there anything else you want us to know?
Are you well fed? Are you hungry?
How much did the soup? I didn't ask how much. Sorry, anyone.
For you, you're sitting at 9 points in total with the additional.
Oh, was the
Alright.
one we rolled not the soup?
So the one that you rolled is how much blood you would have started with. Each time you took soup should be two dots.
Well, some refreshments would be lovely.
Have you learned to? You know that you're drinking blood, right? You have been shared that. Right, good. And I will check if the kitchen has something. But otherwise, of course, if you're very starving, you're always allowed to eat from me. And then she will start moving over to the kitchen.
Question before you go.
She stops and turns around very quickly. Yes?
Calling me inexperienced at this whole thing, but we were fed bowls. Well, I was fed a bowl of blood earlier. How does this work when we feed from someone directly?
Oh, you will your fangs out. You think about your fangs very clearly, and you can almost feel how they move, and they will become sharpened. And then you can bite someone, and you can drink blood from it.
That sounds
Isabella,
like it
there's
would
a-
be.
Sorry, go ahead.
That sounds like it would be problematic.
Oh no, everyone you bite will feel extreme joy and be pacified under your bite. You are excellent hunters, all of you.
There is a
Right.
brief flash of pain, Isabella, in your finger from earlier.
You see Victor visibly go to his mouth and sort of feel his teeth, which probably feel normal at this point.
Okay, go ahead and make for me. Let's see here. Straight courage.
Straight courage. Okay, I clicked it, but nothing seems to be happening yet again. The whole pop-out thing doesn't seem to function very...
Is the pop out
Whoa.
failing you?
Yeah,
My apologies.
I think
difficulty
sometimes if you have a pop-up and you don't really close it correctly, it can become like minimized. Oh my god. That's a roll.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh my
No,
god.
you can with great control extend and retract your fangs as you begin to feel them.
That is the moment when, for the first time, you see his face sort of change, like... That is rather remarkable.
She does a curtsy and she starts. I will go to the kitchen now and see if I can find you something fresh to drink, as I don't think I can sustain all of you if you're all hungry. And then she will do another courtesy and walk out.
Thank you, Amelia.
And yeah, she keeps walking.
And just for you, Amelia, I have something that I'm going to post to you in Discord.
Yeah, I actually did a semi-bad thing as well.
This is the moment that she sort of steps out. This shouldn't actually be possible. She was right about the fangs. It makes no
Shouldn't be
sense.
possible?
The
What
whole
should not be
thing,
possible?
there's no medical records of this being a thing, as in... I've not read about this being a thing.
Well, I suppose
You've
that
not read it.
This whole thing feels like a bit of a cult to me. I'm not entirely sure if it's...
Huh.
This is all very confusing.
Well, I would probably say that it depends on what it is you're reading. There's certainly a lot of, well, stories about it. And I think that some of the things could probably be explained away. But some are a bit more difficult. Like the changing of the teeth. Not only that they are suddenly different, but in such a way.
In such a way that they are those of a predator.
Yes. And in such a way that I ate a whole meal of food. And I could barely feel it. I was still hungry as hell.
Oh. That chicken, for some reason, was bland beyond recognition.
How did your keepers take you guys?
What do you mean?
I was about to ask, as in they brought us here by carriage, but...
Before that. You know, life before the society.
Well, I woke up in a bowl. Dripping
Similar.
wet, which was really uncomfortable.
Not entirely sure what the whole deal was with that. Supposedly, certain tradition.
Yes, maybe some kind of like initiation.
Certainly feels like.
Oh, I suppose a little bit of uncomfortableness is acceptable.
It seems
Thanks.
weird to me that my family would actively or knowingly choose to put me in a position where I'm introduced to a cult like this. They don't tend to be very accepting of other beliefs in general.
You think your family arranged for this?
Oh, they absolutely did.
What makes you say that?
I
Were you
happen to
told,
know
or-
that they have been looking for the longest time to make sure that I would survive. And they finally found a way, supposedly, which went paired with large amounts of money moving around. And them leaving me behind to be cured.
Let's see.
And do you feel you're cured?
Well, he sort of looks down at his leg. I can put weight on my leg now, which is new. So, maybe?
Does that mean that you did not choose it yourself then?
I was completely unaware of what was going on beyond that they found something that supposedly could help me. Found it all quite odd to start with, as in why did they have to leave me behind in order for this to work? But this would explain some of it, at least.
And are you saying that you chose this?
Well, that is what I was told, and logically, I can only think that if I was presented with this, even though the information is a bit lacking, I can understand as that I might agree on it, yes.
If more of what they are saying is true, then it would make a logical choice for a lot of people.
Well, I don't really exactly remember it, but I am not surprised. Oh, but where are my manners? She'll kind of stand up and brush out her dress. I've not fully introduced myself, have I? Well, I am Duchess Isabella Maria Dominique of Montfort.
I'm sorry about that last name. Yeah.
Rosa goes into a low curtsy. Honored to meet you, Duchess.
Duchess of Montfort. My name would be Victor Tommaso Portinari.
Does either of those names mean anything to me? Like, have they any political standing or...
Tommaso Portinari might mean something.
Go ahead and make me a wits politics, difficulty 7.
You would recognize, I think.
With that many successes, yes. So, go ahead and reveal a few things about the family name that you think 3 successes would garner.
The name, or the second name, Tommaso, and the last name, Portinari, as in, you recognize that man started a branch of the Medici Bank, or oversaw a branch of the Medici Bank in Bruges. Specifically.
Can you spell that? The bank? And
Sure.
the name, if you... Well, the name I have on your...
There we go. But this was, well, a while ago, and the Medici Bank in Bruges has sort of been in decline for a while. You figure they might have packed up the last bits of their branch and left by now.
Oh. So the bank is not active anymore?
In Bruges not, but the Medici Bank itself still exists in Italy, operating
Oh.
from Firenze or Florence. A quite
Family of
well-known bank,
bankers.
actually.
Do you know that name? Family is in... on the bank, right?
Father's side, yeah. It's been a while since... I guess we still have some connections, but... Bruges hasn't exactly been thriving over the last century.
Well, it's very nice to meet you. And you as well.
What was your name? I look at...
Oh, sorry. My name's Rosa Ricci.
Rosa Ritchie. Does that sound very English to me?
Not at all.
No,
No,
that's all. Okay.
it-
Just out of curiosity.
Does
thought
the
I
name say
heard-
anything?
It's just-
You can make me a wits politics difficulty 9.
I'm going to do that. Ooh. Need to open that sheet again.
Mm-mm.
Oh wow, that's a super botch. Big dice
It's also
pools
gonna
are
hurt
just
more than likely.
more possibilities of ones.
One success.
Which is canceled
and
out by the
one.
1.
And no
Not a one.
Yes.
successes.
Um, No,
out of
it
character
doesn't ring.
mistake. Rosa Rosso, not Ritchie. Sorry.
The Ross- okay, I was wondering.
Sorry.
You mentioned Firenze earlier, if I'm not mistaken. Florence.
Florence, yeah. I live on the outskirts. Family run a vineyard, husband taverns. So
Oh.
we get by.
And then the name Medici shouldn't be strange to you either.
The camera breaks away from the three of you and begins to follow Amelia as you head into the kitchen. As I described earlier, it's a bit of the initial portion of the kitchen is sort of has a bit of an opening to the sitting room itself. So you would be able to see that there are currently 4 individuals still in their cloaks, not undressed yet, sort of working away in the kitchen. 2 of them appear to be making meals, which they are now lacing with blood, while the other 2 appear to be just, well, draining some body parts.
All right. And yeah, I can. Oh, good. They asked for more food. Do you know when the caretakers will come?
As you begin to speak to them, you would watch as a single individual turns around Quentin, and he's one of the stockier of the 2 that is currently draining some of the body parts. And he quietly walks over towards the bar itself and says, no, we haven't been alerted as to exactly when individuals will be arriving. We just knew what time we would be dropping them off here. Although I'm sure a messenger will be by. And as he's saying that, there would be a loud, echoous knock that comes from the double doorway of the front of the manor.
All right. Show the blood to them as soon as you're ready. I will
Okay.
see if it's them at the door.
Not better. Quentin, by the way, and he holds out a hand.
Emilia. Quinton Rayner.
Yes. And you are, you are the Grand Keeper, essentially. You're higher station than us. Got you. You'll be with the coterie for longer?
I think so. I think that I will plan to stay with them even after the training, but it might change. You never know.
Very well. But yes, you might want to get the door.
Right, good. And she starts to, not heading through the sitting room. She would try, if there isn't any other exit to the kitchen, she would take that and move down the hallway.
Yeah, you would see that there's an exit that goes into the dining hall, which then you can take the dining hall back to the front foyer and to the double doors themselves.
Yeah.
When you get to the front door, you wouldn't actually see an individual outside, but instead you would see that there is a small gift basket which has been placed just in front of one of the windows on the left-hand side of the door, because you have a window on the left and a window on the right with a small curtain. But you would see that through that window that there's a basket that has been placed outside, and on top there is a sealed letter, which appears to have the heraldry of Bruges.
She will try to look out the window to see if she can see someone leaving. like the
Perception
fire.
alertness. Difficulty 8.
Alertness, perception, and difficulty 8.
Okay.
Oh.
So what you would see is the carts themselves, or the carriages themselves, have been moved out of the road, essentially. But there are a number of people who have begun to fill the road. There are a number of carts that are going by. There's a couple of individuals talking and going past the manor. And you would see an individual sort of looking at the manor from an alleyway in a sort of similar fashion cloak to the keepers within. And currently his hood is down. It's a male, probably in his mid-20s, very long, wavy, platinum blonde hair, and green eyes with a pencil mustache, who is kind of just nodding to himself before turning and heading into the alleyway.
Alright. She will open the door and I guess look little after him, but then take the basket and bring inside.
Sure. There's a little note tied to the basket that says, "Welcome home," for Amelia, on the basket itself. And the letter itself also has "to Amelia" on it.
Alright. She would close the door and she would like look in the basket, just say, but would you this what gifts kind of is it in it?
There are a number of smoked sausages, a bottle of wine, and also there are some books from a local library regarding one is romance, one is history, and another is mystery.
Alright, she would take the gift basket and like hold it on her arm, then take the letter and open it and read it as she stands there in the hallway.
You're fantastic. I will send that letter to you on Discord, and you can read it to the stream.
Alright. To Emilia, the mistress...
Quaya.
This is hard to read actually. Quaya?
Mm-hmm.
Or
Quaya.
Quaya shall be joining your residence for the teachings of your new formed coterie upon the time of the new dawn. Her ladyship, the Grand Duchess of Bruges, Prince Martina Gisela, shall be joining you for introductions and welcomes upon the striking of midnight. Best of luck, Vitu de Luna, Grand Messenger of the Keepers of Bruges. Alright.
That is everything that's contained within.
Alright. And how many hours to midnight?
It is just recently sundown, so you've got a good 5 or 6 hours.
She like instantly like try to fix her dress a little more, even if it's fixed already, and then she would take the basket and place it somewhere like on the side, and more make it like almost like a piece to make it look nicer in the hallway, more than looking like a gift basket to Emilia, and remove just the sign of Emilia apparently. And then she will move into the sitting room again, but now coming from the hallway instead of the kitchen she went into.
Okay. As you approach the sitting room, that is where we are going to take our break, and we will be right back, folks. See you soon. ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Children of the Cup, the Shadow Renaissance. Coming back in, you are just about to speak to the group when suddenly there is another knock at the door, Amelia.
I stop. I turn around and I start walking toward, and I hide the letter on me, because
Sure.
I was holding it before, but now I hide it. And I will walk up, I guess, first to the window to see what I can see.
There is a man who is in a bit of rather plain commoner's clothing. He is holding a small basket, which has a letter on top.
Right, she opens the door.
Oh, hey, how you doing?
Hello.
And he hands you the basket.
From whom?
I don't have a sender. I was just paid 2 silver to deliver it. Sorry.
Does he seem to be truthful?
You can make me a wits empathy or perception empathy.
All right.
Difficulty 6.
Let's see here.
Dear God!
How did
What?
something wrong?
So
Huh?
That is not.
I think the difficulty
Did you
was
set the-
0.
Yeah, what did you say the
Oh, I
difficulty
think,
is?
yeah, I think I forgot. I thought
Okay.
it was at standard 6, but no. Okay.
No. Okay.
So
1,
3.
2. Yeah, there we go. 3. All right. Thank you. Wow. All right. Anyways, so 3 successes. With 3 successes, you see the telltale signs of dominate.
I understand, she says. And well, it has come in great order, and she takes out like a copper coin and give it to him, like as courtesy.
As soon as he takes
And-
the copper, he sort of looks to his left, then to his right. Huh. Yeah, sure. Whatever it was, and he pockets the copper. Immediately starts walking off.
And she closes the door.
The letter would have to Isabella on it. In the basket itself, there would be just a simple, small, decorative jewelry box, and there would be a single bottle of wine from Paris.
All right. She inspects the wine, like picks it out of the basket, inspects it. Does it seem to be blood in it or wine?
Ooh, for this, go ahead and make me perception awareness. Because it is wine, I'm gonna give you difficulty 7. One success. It does not appear that there is blood mixed.
All right. She puts it back down then and tries to make it exactly the same as it were, like she
Mhm.
hasn't tampered with the box in the basket. Then she takes the basket with her. She is once
You-
again trying to
You
help the
take
sitting.
one step, there is another knock at the door.
She takes the basket, puts it to the side, looks out the window.
This time there's 2 individuals standing at the door. One woman in also commoner's clothes, and a child no more than 8 with a basket his size standing next to this woman at the door. The woman is also holding a basket.
She opens the door. Hello?
The child immediately speaks up. Hello there, here to deliver this.
From whom?
Tall guy.
I see. She takes it and then
And
looks over to the woman.
the woman starts handing you a basket and she says, "This came from a very beautiful woman who was in a carriage."
I see. And then she takes it because the 2 gift baskets, places them on the ground, and then gives both of them a copper each.
Sure.
When it looks like they've been taking care of this
Mhm.
basket. Thank you.
And they would both give like very poor, like she would give a very poor curtsy, and he would give like a very almost whimsical like tip of the hat, even though he's not wearing a hat, and they would scurry off. The woman, it appears, would have been carrying, let's see here, that would be for Seth, or not Seth, but Victor. And then the child would have been carrying for Rosa.
All right.
But
What
it would
do
say
they
the
have?
maiden on it. It wouldn't actually say Rosa.
Ah, maiden. Well, she closes the doors after them, and she will inspect both the baskets. What's in them?
So inside of the maiden's basket, it would be a collection of books in Italian. All of them romance, by your best guess. And inside of the basket for Victor, it would be a small set of like miniatures, sculptures, wooden sculptures that have been hand carved. It would also be a set of cuffs for a dress wear, not cuffs as in handcuffs. And also it would be a single book on the occult mysteries of the vampire with a Y.
Okay. But no wine.
No one.
All right. All right. She will try to take the one to Rosa first and like hang it high up on the shoulder, and then hold out the other two baskets and
Sure.
try to carry them all three without making it look silly.
Sure.
Yeah.
Dexterity, athletics, difficulty 7. Difficulty 8 of their
Oh.
baskets.
Oh no. Dexterity athletics.
Let's see how many dice those are.
I have nimble fingers. Does that help?
Sure, I'll allow that speciality.
All right.
Oh,
my God.
Oh,
Elegant very elegantly.
with grace from some deep well of knowledge that you did not realize that you possessed, you managed to gracefully make your way across the room and towards the sitting room.
And she wishes there's no more knocks before she reaches the sitting room.
Fantastic. There is not.
Yay! Did I get in, or has something happened there while I've been gone?
Has
Entire
anything
place
happened?
is in shreds.
Yeah, there you go.
Alright. There's come gifts for all of you. And she approaches
Oh.
Isabel first, and like, this is for you, Isabel.
For Isabella,
Thank
I will
you.
post yours in Discord as to what's on the note, or on the letter, I should say.
Yeah, she says Lady Isabella, sorry. But she would know her curtsies.
Then her thank you will be a little more graceful.
Alright. And then she would go to Victor. And this for you, Sir Victor?
I'll accept it.
And this one is for you, Lady Rosa.
Thank you.
Give me 1 second, and I will get you to your letters as well. Even though one of you will have a particular issue, I will still send it to the player. Let's see, where are you in my Discord? There you are. Okay.
Unfortunately, I cannot tell you where the gifts exactly come from, as the sender is anonymous, but maybe your letters will keep any clues to who has brought this gift.
Rosa looks very hard at her note. Looks like she's trying to sound stuff out, but I think she's gonna probably pass it to Amelia, a little sheepishly. I'm still learning.
It's alright, and she will she will basically almost kneel next to you, like she's hunkering down, and then she would hold the letter out for you, and she would pull her finger as she will read it out to her.
I'll send it to you now.
She will not specific. I guess I should read it out loud because people can't hear. And I said, "To my dearest maiden, to call you Rosa or Ferlina."
There.
Is that Selina? All right. This question haunts me so. Instead, I should simply call you my maiden until your mind has settled upon a reality. Know that you shall be well taken care of, and Vito says hi. There's an XOXO. Margarita Nasia Montenegro. P.S. See you in 3 days.
Thank you.
And she will give you back the note and then stand. I can definitely teach you how to read properly later.
I'd appreciate that.
By the way, the name in the letter, does that mean anything to us at all?
You guys are more than welcome to make me a Wits Politics difficulty 9.
And 10 for me, I guess.
10 for you. Yeah, 10 for you.
They roll for me.
Nope.
Nope.
Nope. Oh, yay! Isabella, you would recognize the name as someone. It's a noble tied to a very prominent, shipping company, in Aragon, or yeah.
What about because I assume I heard the name that Emilia, right? Do I recognize that one?
In your letter, yeah. Let's see here.
Oh, okay. This was the one from Emilia's letter. Sorry.
That's the role that you were trying to do. Okay, I see. I thought you were trying to do the letter that was read out loud.
No, it would be for our own.
But I wanted to do both actually. So.
Fantastic. It still would have been the same difficulty for all of you. So in other words, give me another roll for your own letter. And Seth, do me the same.
Difficulty...
Victor, that's
7?
For you, difficulty 8 for your letter. And then for you, Victor, difficulty 7.
For my own letter, I guess.
Yes.
Oh, 3. There's a 1 in there, but still 3 successes.
Okay. I think we found Isabella's calling. Victor, no, nothing.
7.
So for you, you would recognize at least the last name as a very prominent French family, which may or may not be linked to Charlemagne. Who knows?
After reading the letter, by the way, and while all of this is going on, Victor already cracked open the book that was in the basket, and he's just speed reading through it. He's probably not picking up exactly what's there, but he's skimming for keywords of things that he's already heard earlier this night or this day.
Okay. What I will give you is, as you're skimming through it, it would actually be a very, very well put together and presented combination of local folktales and folklores of vampires in Europe, as well as a acclaimed autopsy, like a very, very early autopsy of a possible vampire, and also a acclaimed collections of drawings of the various different shapes that this now deceased vampire took on before falling to the blade of a prominent hunter.
The part hunter instantly interests me, as in anything particular mentioned about that, connections to the church or Inquisition, anything like that?
Best guess is that's going to be another Wits Politics. This time difficulty 5.
Okay, Wits Politics. Oh dear. One success.
One success. You don't pick up anything on the name. However, it is mentioned that he is a member of the Ordo Maleficarum within the Vatican, which specializes, potentially, should the rumors be true, in demons.
I'm going to assume that most of this is probably gibbity-goosh, like garlic stories.
Oh yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, he'll just be skimming through that book.
Mm-hmm. It's got running water, crosses, the whole shebang.
Yeah.
However, in the latter portion of the book, because it's like several different collections of folklore, there is a set of folklore that seems to come from the region of essentially Estonia, and it tells like this tale of a shape-shifting creature of darkness who drained the blood of young children and fought a great battle against another shapeshifter of similar stature.
Right. Emilia will, after she read the letter to Rosa, stand up and say, "There's been an advancement, and I have been privy to some more information about your caretakers. It seems like at least one caretaker will come at the new dawn, and possibly all three. But there have been another thing that will come sooner, that is very important. Around midnight, the leader of the Cainite Society, the Cainites and the Society, will be making a visit here. And that means that I have to teach her some things in order to be presentable in a standard to her, well, Majesty. First off, as you might have noticed, I called Rosa here Lady Rosa. And some of you might be confused about that, as she doesn't seem to have of noble standing. When it comes to this society that you have joined, all that are of the blood, like all of you three are held at a higher station than nobles of the mortal world. Meaning it's very common, not all wishes to be called this, are using titles for them. At least when they are within the confines of only the initiate. And it's very important to know that there is a different court structure within this new society you come to. And it's very important that some titles are never left out. I think for some of you it would be very easy to follow a title structure, and some of you might have a little harder time. Specifically the guest that we will have, she is called Prince. of the city. And that is her title. And that is Prince Martina Gisela. And in our society here, the highest title normally you have when you are controlling a whole city is normally the title Prince. Prince Martina specifically doesn't want to be called just her name. She will take that as an insult. If you forget her name, it will be perfectly fine to call her Prince. It is very important that all three of you treat her with the uttermost respect you can think of, as she is the one that will decide your future if anything would happen in the city. She is the law. She decides on every matter that she wishes to decide on. And there is no overruling or any council that goes against it. It is her law in this city. Any questions?
As Amelia is speaking, there would be a little bit of a commotion from the kitchen, and Quentin and Vincent would both come out from the kitchen very carefully and trying to be very quiet and make their way with bowls to the table and place one before all three of you. And a small bowl of normal food will be placed on a side table next to one of the chairs for you, presumably Amelia.
And she still said, any questions? And waiting to the room.
Why is she called Prince if she's a woman?
The Society of Cainites, well, I shouldn't use that, it's so used to use that term. The Cainites in the night have their own title structure. And because in our legends, the first Cainite was a man, and it was called the Prince of Darkness. Everyone has chosen to choose the title Prince. To just honor the lineage in their blood. Not all chooses, though, to use Prince as the highest title, but Prince Martina has. And it's not connected to a gender, therefore.
Victor looks up from the book and looks at sorry, I'm still learning the new name, Amelia. When you say Prince Martina, is it her first name that we use, not her last name?
It is fine to use either. When I talk to her about when she's not here, I use Prince Martina because it's faster. When the first time you meet her, you should probably use her full name, Princess Martina Gisela. But the important part is to not forget the prince part. You can say Prince Martina or Prince Gisela, and I don't think she will be offended. But if you say only her name, I am sure she will be offended.
Is that name missing?
Wits politics. Difficulty for this is going to be 7 for those of you who want to make the roll.
Victor will also ask, does that mean that when referring to Contessa of Montfort here, that title no longer holds?
You can see that Emilia has this blank stare all of a sudden, and she looks over to Isabella, and like, her yes and no. And she looks a bit fluttered, and she had it. Let's say that when she is interacting with the mortal society, that can come of importance. But it is important that you do not flaunt that name until you get the hang of the politics, as some might have seen you die or disappear and might be very suspicious if someone suddenly shows up calling themselves with their mortal standing.
Wait, back up. What do you mean they might have seen me die or disappear?
You
I
hear from
don't-
upstairs, Marco from one of the rooms go, "Oh boy."
I do not know in which manner you were given this gift, but the process is normally something that comes very close to death and is normally handled as so towards the mortal society to make sure that the connections that things are not acting strange when you are around for hundreds of years.
Well, that is one thing, but that does not mean I have. What about my. What about my family, my holdings, my resources?
Your resources is probably going to be leashed some way towards your standing, depending on how the family is. But your holding would most likely not officially belong to you, even though there is ways to reclaim their former life. But it has to be done with grace and expertise. So there are those that would want to try to kill you if they learned that you have become this in the mortal realm. You have to keep it a secret.
Well, of course, I was not planning on sharing that.
But
But
we
that.
can go back to that though, right?
All right.
Not during the training period. After that, depending on your caretaker,
I am
there will
sorry, but my husband will be a little bit worried if I am missing for a whole year. If he has not been told about this, I'm sure that he will be a bit worried that I've been gone for several weeks.
I can try to find out exactly what he has been told, but he might have been told of your demise.
Can you find out for mine too, please? I have 3 children. I don't want to be without them for a whole year.
All right. I will definitely
Wait,
follow
but
up.
who will inherit? Does that mean that my husband will inherit my?
As I'm not sure exactly how your family, and she like freezes a bit again, would handle things. I don't really know who would inherit exactly. I can find out what is happening, but probably there has been some smart handling, and your resources have most likely been able to be rescued into your hands one way or another.
Right. I would appreciate it if you look into it.
Definitely. When it has passed many years, that probably using the last name would be fine, as no one would know about you, maybe. You will learn all about this. This is an intricate matter, the mortal life compared to your new immortal one.
I was about
at
to ask, as in who would be aware of how we disappeared and what happened exactly to us to the rest of the world?
Those that the person or those persons that gave you this gift would most likely know why. And maybe your caretakers will have this information as well. Otherwise, I can try to do what I can to find it out.
It would be practical to know this much. Also, Prince of Darkness, we talking Lucifer or something else?
And he's called Cain.
From the Bible?
Yes, the same Cain. But I think I'm not a theological person, so I don't know exactly how the stories line up with the truth. But as I have been informed, it's the same Cain.
It also explains why you've been calling or using the name Cainites.
Exactly, that is why we call it Cainites.
But you
Is-
mentioned. Sorry.
You go ahead.
Well, you mentioned that there was one that had decided this, but they were not the same as the caretakers?
I have not been provided with the information of the caretaker's identity, nor the connection to you yet. I have only name of one of them.
Is the prince like us?
She is one of the society, the leader of the society. To other K-Knights, the society is a term she uses to describe her most important K-Knights around her, the ones she trusts. Meaning, other K-Knights might be a little jealous, or maybe want to join.
Because
would
we are
be-
in a circle, supposedly, to them.
Exactly.
Victor stops at a page in the book and sort of looks up at Isabella. You don't happen to know if there's any particular disagreement with garlic, silver, running water?
You look at Emilia, or...
Emilia, sorry.
Normally not, but there are variations in the weaknesses that are given. A normal K-Knight only has to fear the sun and wooden stakes.
The wooden stakes are in here. Surprising.
Yeah, and you also will have to fear the stake, even if the sun will not be as big bother to you. And that is a secret you should keep very close to heart.
Is
Only
it true what this book says and it instantly destroys us?
Well, not you. So the sun for the other K-Knights will make them catch fire, and fire will kill you if you are, well, burning for too long. And
Tends to do that.
One would
a-
expect so, yes.
Yeah. And a stake does not kill actually a K-Knight nor you, but it paralyzes you if it hits the heart.
With
And-
some modicum of truth, I guess.
Yeah, it's a very uncomfortable thing, as I've been explained, as it locks your whole body in place, and you will be able to witness the things around you, but unable to even move your eyes. So actually,
That doesn't
Do anything
sound
about
great. But I guess we
Sounds
can
a
rule
little
out
bit-
the... Yeah. I guess we can rule out the moving water bit, as in we've crossed a few streams on the way here.
yeah, there are some that can have one. Most of these weaknesses in legends comes from some truth, but there is only a few K-Knights that show these signs, and it's not documented exactly why it happens to some, that they can show other weaknesses. But you will have a weakness connected to your clan as well, of the blood you have that you have.
I think I found mine.
I sort of look at the plate of food that was set before me. Is there any garlic in there, as far as I can see or smell?
You give it a whiff. Yeah, there's like a fresh clove of garlic that's been properly diced and put into it.
I sort of grab a bit of the garlic and sort of taste it.
Garlicky.
So that's untrue. Does anyone have any silver on them?
Would any of Isabella's jewelry be simpler?
I would say that's entirely up to Isabella. Would she have been someone who was interested in having jewelry that had silver in it?
I mean, yeah, she would probably have some. But
Then, yeah.
I don't know, is that a problem for us?
Maybe not.
Silver?
Silver is
No,
not-
not by normal.
Regularly not,
Oh.
but as you explained, some are different. So I figured,
And she would-
let's test it before encountering, I guess.
You would just say, well, I'm currently wearing silver, so that must be a superstition.
Yeah, silver,
I?
garlic, running water are normally not weaknesses for your kind.
Rather important thing, but I would assume that, yeah, I'll ask this another way. Never mind.
Right. But yes, this Princess Martina Gisela will be coming by to say hi and give her introductions. She might bring other Children of the Cup as well. I would highly doubt she will bring anyone who is not initiated in the society. But I would advise not to bring it up before she does. And yes, try to be in your best manners and it will be all right. She will most likely be very understanding as you have not been in this position for long. But it's always good to make a good first impression. It is very important in the court life you will have.
Pause. Anything in particular that we should do or say or not do or not say?
The only thing that you should do is use her title every time you refer to her by name. You should treat her with uttermost respect, and you should not make requests unless it is proper in the context. Not good to ask for favors and definitely do not complain about anything like your old mortal life or about wanting to go away or being ungrateful. That is probably a good idea to keep away from those subjects.
All common etiquette then.
Yes. This is a very great opportunity of being given a gift, and if there is one that can pull that gift away in the city, it will be her decree. And if she pulls away your gift, that will unfortunately also mean your unlives.
Victor closes the book and pulls the food towards him and just starts eating.
It is covered in a good layer of blood, so it actually does something for you. Upon completing the food, you would gain a single dot.
Alright, where were we before I went out? Oh yes, we were talking about your fangs and feeding, and I see that you are all eating, by the way, the food.
Are there utensils this time?
Yes, there are utensils this time.
Isabella will be eating.
Okay.
And Rosa as well?
Yeah.
Alright.
The blood's not the actual food.
Rosa will have soup. Yes.
Yes.
And then she would so as you can see, blood is what is important and sustain you. But it can also, you don't have to eat it from plates and cups. You can eat it directly from the source. And by willing your teeth forward, which you will practice on, and it will become second nature to you, to retract and extract them, protrude them and retract them. You will be able to bite to the flesh of a mortal or a ghoul or a canine, but we will come into why that is bad. We will just stay to mortals for now. And when you do the bite, you will feel the sweet taste of the blood, and it will most find the taste to be even better when it comes directly from, the source. And the person will be paralyzed by your bite. They will feel an ecstasy to it. Normally trying to explain it away that something else happened, something that is more easily to explain the sensation. But that only happens if you bite carefully. If you take a bite and rip the skin, that will of course hurt very much. And that might release them from the initial bite. Afterwards you have bitten someone and taken your blood, you should preferably not drink as much to kill the mortal, as disposing bodies is complicated and might get you in trouble. Not talking about the moral aspects of it. So you should lick the wound afterwards with your tongue, so you get saliva over the 2 bite marks, and it will heal the skin, as your saliva has that property.
Healing saliva.
It only helps for these small kind of wounds, but yes. It is to help you hunt and make you not found.
As she explains this, I sort of, Victor sort of remembers her also mentioning the taste difference between mortal and another one of the blood and that kind of thing. And he sort of tastes the blood on the actual meal and tries to discern whatever he can from it.
Sure. Give me. Oh boy.
I would say that he will do it with the food first, and after that he'll sort of try and cut his tongue on his fang if he's able to, and then do the same.
Perception. Awareness. Difficulty 6.
Let me double check something real quick. Of course, very practical. Even after the whole system thing, it doesn't say exactly what it should be, but awareness, perception.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Difficulty 6. Because he doesn't know the discipline yet, but he does want to notice the difference in taste, see if he can discern anything.
Okay. Well, 7 successes. Deep down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, with that, I mean, wherever this blood came from, sweet, somewhat of a taste of a hint of, by your best expression, you would say there's a taste of an emotion, oddly enough. It feels like whoever's blood this was, it was in some form of lust, and that begins to sort of imprint a little bit on your own emotions in the moment. Also, you would get from this blood that probably came from an adult human.
As he's sort of going through the motions of tasting the blood specifically, he will actually mention that out loud as he's sort of getting the hints of that. As if he was trying to taste the wine, basically. So you could hear him say that out loud.
Well, aged 24 years.
I was not aware you were a blood connoisseur.
Me neither. But that's what I quickly get, because it's both with an I, which is confusing for me. Emilia, you don't happen to know if this is correct?
Which part of it?
The source of, and I sort of hold a hand open towards the meal, like, of the blood.
Oh, that... Well, you seem to have learned more than most at this time. That might be correct. I do not know for sure, but lust, I would think, is correct.
See, Isabella's kind of curious. Can she try to pick up anything?
You can make me
Well-
the exact same roll.
It is shown that Emilia is somewhat surprised, but like in a positive way when you described all that.
Difficulty 7, right?
Mm-hmm.
Definitely gonna be just as good. It was
Yes.
actually not terrible.
It tastes fantastic, but other than that, yeah, no, it's really good tasting, but you can't discern anything in it.
Hmm.
He
Oh,
will
dear.
repeat it with his own blood, of course, after that, like trying to cut his
Sure.
tongue on his fang.
Make me a courage roll with that one.
Okay.
So courage and then perception awareness.
The newly formed Kenneth, do you want to bite your tongue? Why would you do that to yourself?
Let's see the courage roll first. It's
All
two
right,
successes.
great, fantastic. You successfully bite your tongue with a little bit of hesitation, but you do it. And then the perception awareness.
Perception awareness difficulty 6. One success.
One success. It tastes like you are drinking a fine honeyed mead.
It's funny. I can't make up anything of my own blood.
That might be because you're so. I mean, the blood is everywhere in you now, so you probably feel everything that you are, which is exactly the same as before.
Hmm.
I guess I should. I was not ready for the prince herself to come here this quickly. I maybe should teach you the basics of the traditions, maybe. And there are 5 rules. You can say 6 rules, but there are 5 traditions that we must follow. They are called. Do you want me to tell you them by heart, or do you want to just hear the meaning of them? I don't know if you want the official writing or not.
I would like to hear both, please.
All right. I guess I should take Kane's words then. And then she and like she stretches herself like there's something almost ritualistic that is about to happen. The first edition is the covenant. Thy blood makes thee my brood, crafted in my image. My curse is thine, and my salvation is thine. I stand before and above thee as God radiant. I am the way, my tradition, my convent. Renounce me, and I renounce all hope. And thus spoke Cain, the God radiant. And the meaning of it is that you should embrace what you are, but also, and this is the more understood thing, should follow the extra rule I said, the 6th rule, which is silence of the blood. You are hunters in the night, and you should embrace that, meaning only hunters in the night should know that you exist. And you should also follow the other traditions. This is the basic tradition that tells you you should follow the coming words as law. The second tradition is the domain. As I am master of Nod, the domain is thine, my own concern. Though art is master and will respect this or suffer thy wrath, all will present themselves when entering, and thou shalt protect them in turn. By right, thou art allowed to hunt within the bounds of thy domain. Its blood thine own, accept its responsibility, minister thy domain, and pay others the same respect thou expect. Thus spoke Cain, the God Radiant. This basically means when you own your own place, that means that you have your rights in the place. You can tell people who can enter, who can go, and you should respect those. And in this case, how this has been applied is that the prince in the city owns all domain. And he or she gives out domains to others to shepherd. Meaning the prince is lending it like a normal king lends land to its fellow lords. So respect others' area and do not go there and and especially don't feed in others' area until you are permitted to do so. The third one is the third tradition, the progeny. Thou shalt only sire another with the permission and blessing of thine elder. To create is the providence of those closest to me, for they shall be accountable. Break this, and both thee and thy progeny shall be slain. Thus spoke Cain, the god regent. Which means that if you're gonna make a child, which is... We can come to that later, but let's say you need permission if you want to do this. And I will teach you more about that. As Cainites can create other Cainites from mortal blood. The society is slightly different, but we will just live by those words for now. Let's go to the fourth tradition, the accounting. Those thou create are thine own blood until released from thy charge. Until that moment their sins, their blood, and their punishment are thine. Those spoke Cain, the god regent. This means that if you create a child, you have to take care of it until it can stand on its own legs. This is what the training period you're going to go through. Meaning technically your caretakers will be responsible for any transgressions you're doing. Meaning you should not only protect yourself by following the rules, but also those that wants to help you and teach you. And the last one is the fifth tradition, destruction. Forbidden art thou to spill blood of another of thy kind who is elder. This right belongs only to the closest to me and none other. It is forbidden for those of weaker blood to rise against their elders. This is my final covenant. Thus spoke Cain, the god regent. In practice, what he was talking about was that you could not try to rise up against someone that made you and try to kill it for it. But it has extended to more, you do not kill other Cainites that are under the protection of the prince. The only time you're allowed to kill another Cainite is if the prince allow you to, or if you are without recourse to defend thyself. But even when you defend yourself, you should try to immobilize rather than kill, as you will stand trial, even if it was justified. And it's up to the prince if your reason is good enough. These are the traditions that all Cainite, all in society as well, should know. And I will repeat them many times during these trainings because it's so important to know them. But who knows, the prince might ask you anything of this, and then she might see favorable on you that you've already taken up the teachings. The most practical for new ones is to follow is the silence of the blood one. Do not tell mortals, as that can be a disqualification in your training. Always speak to your caretaker if you plan to initiate a new ghoul. This creating of ghouls is normally also decided by the prince, if it's allowed. And I am actually not up to date yet if the prince has made a decree on ghouls in the city to limit that thing. But you should assume she has, until something else has been said. meaning you should not feed your blood to anyone else that is not already a ghoul, if you want to do that. And by the same coin, you should not drink from ghouls you're not allowed to. For example, me, you'll be allowed to drink from me, and I think the other keepers here are probably open, but I would guess with the caretakers first to check with those. And you should definitely not drink from other canines, as that can cause other problems as well.
Problems like what particularly?
When a mortal tastes the blood of a canine, they become ghouls and start to like the canine very much. If you taste another canine's blood, you might start to like that one in an unreasonable degree. This is called blood bounding, and I will go into more details as it is also a lot of rules combining to it. But just stay away from drinking from other canines.
Is this what is affecting you?
Yes, but not towards you. As none of you, I have not tasted any one of your bloods.
No, but someone has fed you their blood.
I have been receiving blood, yes. I do want to have blood as well. I start to feel less me if I'm not getting blood at somewhat of a regular update, but I can withstand very long periods of not being fed. But I will always be loyal, even if I'm not given any blood.
Funny thing, this looks funny to Victor because it looks like your character Elisa is way more comfortable about this than talking about her past, it seems like.
Seems like that.
Yeah. He'll take note of that and sort of nod. Good to know.
It can be a good idea if you're getting a new ghoul that you don't tell the ghoul that they're actually being manipulated by the blood to like you. But after a while, it is apparent and it's acceptable even for the ghoul, as it's a better life we get. We get to live a lot longer and have to be in the present, and that is good enough.
Good to know.
There's the sound of a grandfather clock that begins to go off upstairs. And it goes off for a little bit. It might be. It goes off for a few seconds, and you hear some commotion from the kitchen. You hear some commotion from the basement as the basement door opens, and this very elderly housekeeper sort of makes her way out of the basement and just tries to avoid eye contact as much as possible. Makes her way towards the foyer. All the keepers in the kitchen begin making their way to the foyer, and also you can hear Marco and Vera making their way down the stairs to the foyer as well. Any of you looking would be able to see that they're beginning to line up on either side of the front door.
Alright, if you follow me outside, and she will said, and she does give a deep curtsy to the group.
Big funny thing that makes me realize I have no clue since when clocks are a thing.
I just assume they're things, so...
Okay.
And does it look like you all are coming, or is someone resisting?
I have a bit of a question before that. There was like a box in Isabella's...
Yes, there's a jewelry
basket,
box
right?
in your basket, yeah.
Right. She would have opened it and looked at it while...
It is a...
walking.
From tip to tip, diamond-encrusted cross.
Fancy.
She would probably have switched it out then.
Okay.
Even if the earrings won't match, but...
Sure. It's very glittery, very shiny new cross now adorns Isabel.
Early 17th century bling.
Yes, absolutely.
Stunning.
All right.
Sorry?
Yeah, follow me out. And then she like goes out in the hallway. And as I understood it, there was like stairs up to a balcony like thing.
Yes, so in the hall when you first come through the doors, to the left of the double doors, there's sort of this initial little bit of a spiral at the bottom staircase that's has hardwood steps that goes up to a railing, which would be slightly above you when you were doing all of your talking to them in the sitting room.
All right. So the railing are seen from the main entrance.
They would be, yes.
All right. I would say maybe if you go upstairs and stand there on the railing, and as soon as you see the prince coming in, you do deep curtsies and bows, and then you start going down slowly and approach one at a time to say hello to her. And say hello, you say, Prince Martina Gisela, I'm pleased to meet you. And if she holds forward her hand, you kiss the hand. And you make a deep bow or curtsy, and then stand to the side. And then you see Emilia just stands next to the other ghouls and like becomes one of them that just are standing.
Very well. As you do that, you would see Quentin go over to the double doors and very gracefully open them up. And then he would retake his position outside. And Amelia, you can sort of see this in your peripheral. Everyone else, you would be able to see that you have sort of a very, very small courtyard of the manor, but which connects directly towards the main road itself. And coming into position at the moment is this very large black with gold lining carriage with 4 very large, in fact, warhorse sized horses pulling the carriage along. There would be a cloaked individual in a similar cloak to the keepers who is driving the carriage, and as it stops, you would also hear, now that there's no longer the sound of the clacking wheels on stone, or on cobblestone I should say, you would also hear the sound of rhythmic stepping, almost marching in the background, and coming around the corner of the road, you would see roughly about 40 individuals in very vibrant royal blue and purple floofed military uniforms. Half of them would be carrying pikes. The other half would be carrying a very modern invention known as firearms. And they have giant sticks on one shoulder and firearms on their other shoulder. They would split their number. Half of them would go to the left side of the carriage, the other half would go to the right, and the door would begin to swing open, just as we fade to black. And we will come back with the meeting with the prince next time on Children of the Cup. Adios!
Adios!
Bye.